Hi Stampers, this is Dawn from DawnStampingThoughts.net, and today we're going to make this card. Let me show you how it works. You open it up and then a secret message pops up that slides up into that oval punch out. Isn't that adorable? So this is the horizontal version of this card. This is the one we're going to make today, but I wanted to show you that you can make it a vertical card too. So this is what that one looks like. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to be using the crumb cake, and you're going to need a piece of 12 by 12, and this comes in the Neutrals collection. You'll get an assortment pack of the 12 by 12 of all the colors in that collection. And then you'll also need an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. So we're going to grab our paper trimmer. Okay, so for the 12 by 12 piece, we're going to cut this down to 11.25 inch. There. Okay, so we're going to cut that. And then while we have it on the trimmer, we're just going to go ahead and score this. So you can actually make two cards out of the one piece of 12 by 12. So we're going to score this at 4 inches. And then slide it down to 8. And then score that. Okay, so now we're going to cut it at 5.25. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut both pieces. So then I'll have 2 ready to go. But we're only going to make the one. Okay, so 5.25 by 11.25 is the finished size, scored at 4 and 8. Okay, so now this is my 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, and I went ahead already and cut that at 7 inches. Okay, so now we're going to score this in half at 3.5. I'm just going to score the whole piece so I can make 2 pieces again, so I can make 2 cards. And then you're going to cut this at 5.25. And I'm going to cut this one at 5.25. Okay, so now we're going to score and cut the 5.25 by 7 inch piece, and then this is the 5.25 inch across the top. So we're going to use this sidebar, and we're going to use our cutting arm. So now we're going to go ahead and move this over to 5/8, and that's the mark right after the 1/2 inch mark, or the mark right before the 3/4. So then you're going to take your cutting arm, and you're going to put this on 5 inches right here, and the little blade on your cutter is going to be right at 5. Then you're going to cut that down. Then you're going to flip it over and do the same thing. So line it up at a 1/2 inch and then just slide it down to the 8th mark, which is the 5/8. Put your cutter blade on the 5 and cut. Then we're going to line this up at 2 inches where we cut. These are the 2 cut lines. Now we're going to remove them. So put that on 2. And then you're going to just cut it, and you can feel it when it cuts down to that 5/8 mark where we just trimmed down, because it just gives like a little give. Okay, so now this is what your card should look like. This is going to be the insert that moves for your sliding mechanism. And then you're just going to go ahead and fold your score lines. Let me get my bone folder. Okay, so you're going to see that this is the full-size card, so then when this panel folds, then you're going to have a little area here. This is perfectly normal. This is what you want for this card. And then this part is going to be adhered to the very top of this card here. This panel right here is going to go underneath your fold-up section of the card. All right, so hopefully that's going to make more sense when we move along. So now if you want to decorate the front, let me show you here. The front of the card would be here. The designer paper, I cut this down to 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I really wanted just a small border around the designer paper. And this is the designer paper from It's My Party. It's in the Occasions catalog right now. And then for the inside flap right here, the short end, this piece is cut at 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. That's going to go right there. So let's go ahead and adhere these pieces together. Okay. All right, so that's done. Now let me show you the other 2 cards. Now this is the one we're going to make today, so you'll notice that I used the oval punches, but on this one I used the square framelits. And then also you could use a circle punch. I'm just using the oval punch for today. Okay, so we have the large oval punch, and then we have the scallop oval punch. I'm going to take the large oval punch and punch that first. And you want to have a border over here, just because when the card is sliding, you have that 5/8 of an inch off of the side Hopefully that's showing up. So you definitely don't want to punch your punch out over that far. So you want it to pretty much go inward. So you want it to go like this. Just punch it over. Okay. Then we're going to punch a border. I'm going to take the Whisper White and I'm just going to punch out the large oval. And then take the scallop oval. Just punch a little border there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm going to glue this down over top of that oval punch out. Okay, that looks good. All right, now you're going to take your panel for your inside of your card. And remember, you're going to want it to be closed up like this. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back side. So then you're going to take your panel and you're going to line it up with the front of the card. And your score lines won't match up as far as this one to this one, and that's what you want also. So don't freak out if your score lines aren't measuring up. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so then your card's going to fold up like this, and then you're going to want to stamp your message in the secret slider part. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a pencil, outline this punch out right here onto that layer on the inside. You're just outlining the oval or the punch out that you did so you know where to stamp on this part of your card. Okay, so we're using the stamp set from Sale-a-Bration this year, and it's called Hello, and this stamp set is only available until February 15th. All right, so we're going to use that stamp set. We're going to use the Birthday Girl for stamping on the inside. Let me get my basic black classic ink. And then for the inside, I stamped It's Your Day, and that was from Party with Cake. It's right here. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp the Hello first. So we can punch that out with the Big Shot. Okay, so we're going to stamp it right there. Okay, and then we're going to stamp Birthday Girl. Make sure this is going right. And we're going to stamp it right inside that oval outline that we did. Okay. Let's see. About there. Hopefully that's good. Yep, perfect. So then when the card's opened all the way, you're going to see Birthday Girl. But then when it closes, see, it disappears. Isn't that cute? Okay, so for my Hello, I'm going to use the banner framelit. So let's grab the Big Shot. Okay, so the Hello, we're going to use the largest banner framelit. And I'm just going to be cutting this about 3/4 of the way off. So I'm not using the whole size of the banner. I'll cut that out first. So I'm going to cut out the next size smaller of the banner. And I just basically want the edge, so I can put it underneath the Hello. Okay, so now this piece I'm going to layer behind the Hello. Like that. That looks cute. Okay, so then we're going to take our card, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I want this to be. I'm going to cut that much off of there. Okay, so let's see. We're going to cut, let's cut about 1 inch off that. Okay, then I'm going to take the Pool Party glitter ribbon, and I'm going to wrap this around the back side of the banner. Love this ribbon. So pretty. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to take a bow. I already went ahead and tied a bow. I'm going to use the glue dots to attach that. Okay. I'm just going to put that right up at the top. Okay, then we're going to put this on the front. I think I popped the other one up on dimensionals on the front of that card. Okay, cute. Then we're going to add some Bermuda Bay sequins, and I'm going to use the fine tip liquid glue. Just going to randomly put them on the front, And then also on the inside, once I add that banner. Okay, so then here's the inside card. I'm going to put on the inside next to the secret message. It's opened up. Just like that. Okay, so now to seal this shut, you're going to want to keep your adhesive on these, so when the panel is closed, see here, hopefully that shows up. Let me see. So when your card's closing, you don't want the adhesive to go past this cutout that we did at the 5/8 mark. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive along the bottom of the score line, like right here. So then when the card seals up, it's not going to interfere with this mechanism. But before we seal it up, we want to remove our pencil line. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and fold that up and then adhere that down. So it's really like forming a pocket, but see how that mechanism still works even though it's adhered down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add some sequins to the inside. Okay, so that's how you make that card. Isn't it cute? So here's the other one. Now this one I did add some of the It's My Party enamel dots to the front and the inside. And then here's the same type of card, just with the vertical layout. Okay, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later. Bye.